everybody, and welcome back to another 5-Minute Stories with Miss Ashley. Today I have a map of Asia with me. Did you know that maps tell stories too? It's true. I'm going to tell you a wonderful story from China, a very old story with dragons. First, I'm going to point out a couple things on this map. Here is China, and here are the Himalayan mountains. Here is a little island called Taiwan, and underneath is the Philippines. All of these landmarks are going to be in this story. And it begins like this. Long, long ago, in the land we now call China, there was a great big daddy dragon. And he loved to sleep curled up into the land with his tail pointing out into the South China Sea. Can you see that little point right there? That's his tail. And while he slept, his baby dragons loved to play in the South China Sea, kicking up water spouts, making waves, and blowing out fog. Well, one day, those baby dragons got bored. And what happens when you get bored? You get into trouble. That's right. And those baby dragons thought it would be a good idea to wake up their daddy. So they started making a lot of noise. Daddy, 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 daddy. And they were jumping up and down, and they were making big splashing noises, and they were shaking the whole earth trying to wake him up. But you know what? Daddy Dragon could sleep. He just kept on snoring away. So then one of the baby dragons got a brilliant idea. She went over to her daddy's tail and she took a little nibble. Jump. And all the other dragons thought that was such a good idea. So they began to bite up and down daddy's tail, chomping and chomping and chomping and chomping until all of a sudden, he woke up and he was not happy. Oh, that daddy dragon was so upset, he took that tail and thwop! He thwopped those babies up into the air. They landed down in the South China Sea, splash, 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 splash. And one of those baby dragons got covered with land. The land began to form around that baby dragon. And if you look really closely at a map, you can see a trail of mountains trailing from the north all the way down to the south of this island. And this island is known as Taiwan. And every once in a while, this baby dragon gets restless and he starts rolling around under the earth. And he starts shaking the buildings and scaring the people because he's bored. Do you know what that's called? Earthquakes, that's right, earthquakes. But we know what it really is. It's that baby dragon. And if you still look at a map now, if you look really closely, you can see the bite marks that were left on that daddy dragon's tail. But not only that, if you look really closely here, you'll see that that daddy dragon was so upset with his babies, he didn't want to look at them for a while. So he stretched himself across Asia, and his spine now forms the Himalayan mountains. And we know this story is true because we can see all these things on this map, right? No, you're right. This story isn't true at all. Dragons don't talk. And here is your literacy tip for this week. It is never too early to begin teaching your child about geography. Learning to read a map helps children develop their visual literacy skills. This means that a child can comprehend an image rather than simply observe it. Stories like this one can be found all over the world. So many cultures have created stories that pretend to explain how landforms came to look the way they do. This is a wonderful activity you can try at home, too. Grab a map or even draw one and ask your child to tell a story about how the picture they are seeing came to be. You may be surprised by what they come up with.